Hey guys! So here we are. Michael is driving me to the airport after these wonderful 4 days I've spent with him and his family. We have visited many interesting places and we are going to just talk a bit about them.
Yeah, just recap.
Just recap a bit of how it was and which impressions I hold from these places and from Bavaria, and that's it. So Michael, do you want to start?
Yes, I want to start. I picked up Carlos on Friday on the Munich airport, which was interesting for me because I've never been at the airport before. I barely take a flight somewhere. I usually use my car. So, getting there and picking up Carlos was really interesting. It was really new experience for me. And then, the excitement, like waiting for the aircraft to land and everything, was really cool. And yeah, then we met, got to the car, and then we drove to the Dachau concentration camp. So, Carlos.
Well, Dachau was, first of all, a surprise. I did not expect us to go to Dachau. So when I entered the car with Michael, he said, so what do you think if we go to Dachau? And it's really nearby. I was like, okay, perfect. And when I got there, of course, if anything, it's an overwhelming experience and it's a reality check. To me, it was like, all the pictures and the movies you see in books and on TV, yeah, it happened here as well. And it became real and scary, actually, to go inside a crematorium building, for example, to step inside the gas chamber and to check the living quarters, see the objects that people use in the museum of the Dachau concentration camp, then go around the memorials. All of that was a very strong experience that, in my opinion, would only become equaled by another experience that we'll talk in a minute.
In my opinion, visiting such a concentration camp is something compulsory if you are here. It's a must-see. You need to learn about this. It's not about whipping yourself. For me, as being a German, it's not about this. It's about the history in itself and the deeds, of course, that they shall never be forgotten and that we learn from it, from the future. And I think the place at Dachau, like the museum there, it really captures this. So if anyone ever goes to Munich, I highly recommend to pay a visit at the Dachau camp.
I agree. So the next day we went to
Neuschwanstein.
Yes. Well, not only actually.
Not only, but yes. That was the first main target.
Indeed. But I will start by saying that to someone like me that has never been in anywhere that was snowing or this type of countryside, which is all very green, many trees, beautiful place. Bavaria is a very rich, beautiful landscape, and to see that transition into the Alps and into the Tyrol style, into the Neuschwanstein area, go by places that are almost dreamy in a way, was something amazing. Then once there, it just was a strong experience. Neuschwanstein is all that you see in the books and in the photographs, and then more. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful castle. And then there's another castle right next to it called Hohenschwangau.
Yeah.
Hohenschwangau, which is almost as beautiful, maybe even as much, but in a different style. I loved it as well. To me, it was all part of the same experience. So yes, Neuschwanstein takes the the crown, so to speak. But Hohenschwangau was also very, very nice.
It's a bit older, of course, Hohenschwangau, and a bit more real, you know. Neuschwanstein is completely made up, of course, and of course it's the name, the English name for it is Cinderella Castle, but that says it all. And the cool thing was, it was also my first visit there. I've never been there, although it's only a 2-hour drive to get there, to one of the most famous sites of not only Bavaria but Germany, which was a bit ridiculous, but I finally made it to get there with Carlos. And for me it was also very interesting to climb up that castle, because you can go there only by foot. So we walked up there, and the weather was not brilliant, it was snowing, so it was all a bit foggy, but this only added to the mysterious look of the site actually. And I think for Carlos, for you, it was also interesting to experience the snow.
Oh yes, oh yes, that was a big part of the experience for me. I had been in snow, but never while snowing, and it snowed the whole time we were there. That in itself was for me an experience.
So after we visited these two castles, we, on our way back home, we stopped at the church, the so-called Wieskirche, because at the breakfast my dad mentioned that this is on our way and we should pay a visit there, because it's considered to be the most beautiful Rococo church in the world. So that means a lot, of course. And we went there. It was only a little detour, and that's a church which stands in the middle of nowhere. There are only little farm buildings around it. It's not surrounded by a city or a village. It's completely on its own. And outside it looks pretty nice, but if you get inside, it gets mind-blowing. Carlos?
Yes. To me, the approach to the church was the beginning of the experience. It's situated in the middle of a huge meadow with very small rolling hills and forests around, and all was snowy. No one was there. Very little people was there. So it was like eerie in a way. And suddenly you get this huge building. It's just out of the blue. It's there. And once we got in, I couldn't stop taking photos of it, and panorama images, and it just I wanted to encompass all of that beauty, all of that hard work, all that artistry that was there, but it was really extremely hard to do. And then it was not a very good attempt, because our cameras cannot capture all of that, but we made do, and most of all we appreciated and felt that punch of the age it was done in, of the beauty of the whole artwork.
So on the next day, on Easter Sunday, we started with an extensive brunch. It was really extensive. I think we ate 2 days from this.
Oh yes, it was quite the experience of Bavarian foods.
All the leftover pieces.
Yes.
It was massive feast. And in the afternoon, we took a little tour to Neuburg, which is a rather small town very close by at my place, which has a Renaissance castle at its old city core. And there we took a little stroll, not too long, because it's not big, but it's very enjoyable.
About 1 hour.
Yeah,
right?
roughly.
Roughly 1 hour. But the beauty of that place is something else. I was struck exceptionally by the library building, of course, the castle, the cloister inside the castle was something out of this world, with painting on the walls, and it was something memorable. the church was also beautiful, and overall the city itself, the buildings, the way it's kept, and the way it still is conserved is beautiful, and it is very moving to see that all these towns really take care of their heritage, of their buildings, of their history, and they make it available for everyone else to enjoy. But they also use it as either administrative buildings or inhabited buildings. That was quite surprising, and it's also very interesting to see happening. Another thing, if I might add, Michael, was that brunch. Oh boy, that brunch was amazing. You see, Michael's mom cooks very well, but also one of the other family members also cooks very well. So it was. I think I've increased in size of girth and in weight. So yeah.
I hope they let you sit in the airplane.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'll have to pay for extra luggage or extra seat.
Yes, extra seat. Yeah. So on Sunday we basically had a lazy day. Just the Neuburg Castle and the old city core. That's it. And on Monday we went to Nuremberg.
Yes.
So there are two big sites: the Reichsparteitagsgelände, the former Nazi Party rally ground, as well as the medieval city center. And Carlos went berserk with his camera because he just was overwhelmed.
Yes, I mean, how can one explain this? There is something to it when you get to the former Nuremberg Party rally. It's to know the history, to have looked at all the photos, all the films, and then to step in the same stones that those people stepped on, and to realize how the place itself influenced what was happening at this time, and how it was designed to do so, to influence the people, and to get into this feedback of crazed madness that it ended up by being. And to actually, I was telling Michael this when I was there, I was sort of, although I understand why, I'm sort of disappointed that they did not keep that site very well, and they actually demolished part of the site. I am not in favor of destroying places like that. I think if you kind of try to run away or destroy history, it'll come back to bite you. It'll mystify, and if you have the places there, it's very easy to demystify them and to understand what it was in them that helped to make all of that general craziness at the time to boil over into the events that we all know and that we all cringe upon. Another thing, if I might add, Michael, is Michael led me to this building I didn't even know existed, which was the Nazi Congress building, which is absolutely massive. I mean massive. It's like the Colosseum of Rome. It's huge, and I don't know why, but I'd never even heard about this building. It's right next to the Straße,
Große Straße,
the
Great
parade
Street.
ground. Yes, the parade street, and it's just huge and immense. And now it's actually a museum.
Yeah, it features a museum about the Nazi ground there, the rally ground, which is highly recommended. But unfortunately we couldn't get in there. We were lacking time to do this. But nevertheless, I think Carlos, you know enough about this site, so
yes,
no worries there.
Yes, indeed. I mean,
and one thing to appreciate about this area in general is that they just started to build all these assembly grounds. The plan was went even further, and they never really, got it started. So this is maybe 50% finished.
Yes.
It's even humongous.
Oh, it was
the size
huge.
of it. You can take easily a 2-hour walk there.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Oh, yeah. And we sort of did actually go around the whole complex, or where the area of the whole complex would have been.
Yeah.
And I will, of course, feature in the video that I'm going to make. I'm going to feature all the images I've captured of the city of Nuremberg, the rally party grounds, of all the places we've been mentioning. I've took some, I wouldn't say extensive pictures, for example, on Neubau. Mostly took small videos and pictures, and that's in Neuschwanstein the same thing. But of the Nuremberg, I really had to take that with me. And apart from the whole experience with the Nazi party ground was, of course, the city itself. And oh boy, therein lies the cherry on top of the cake. And to me, if not the most amazing city I've been into, it's right up there with, I mean, it's the castle, the streets, the way that things are kept and were rebuilt, because one must understand that all of that was destroyed in the Allied bombings of the Second World War. So 90% of this whole city was rubble. It was all rebuilt. All the churches, all the medieval houses, everything was rebuilt.
Yeah.
Even some parts of the castle, which wasn't that bombed, but it was still a bit bombed, were rebuilt. And I honestly can say that you can't see it. It's mentioned in a couple of buildings.
Yeah, they have inscriptions on it.
Yeah, saying that they were rebuilt in 1945, but that's it. That's how far you can go to actually understand which builds were rebuilt, or if there's any marks of the rebuild being visible or anything.
Yeah. And the cool thing about Nuremberg is that this city was important for such a long time that you can have like a medieval building next to a neoclassical building. Everything is possible there, and
it looks good.
Yeah, very playful decorations on the buildings. And I think, the people living there, they are relaxed, aren't they?
Very relaxed. I loved it.
Oh, and another thing, you ate your first schnitzel there.
Oh, yes, I ate my first schnitzel with potato salad and Weiss Dunkelbier. What's the name?
Dunkles Weißbier.
Dunkles Weißbier.
Dark wheat beer.
Yes, and it was awesome. Unfiltered, right?
Yeah.
You can eat that beer, and I'm not a big beer fan because the beers in my country mostly suck. But Bavarian beer, I had the privilege of tasting some of the best beer in the world, in my own opinion. Michael's father was so kind, and Michael were so kind as to provide me with a whole selection of beers during my stay, and I tasted them, and I went berserk also with them because they are amazing. There are beers that I hadn't even noticed how good they were. It's simply stunning.
Yeah, and we have many small breweries which do not export abroad. You can't even buy them everywhere in Germany, and we tried to pick a selection of once we drink ourselves, just being like how the locals do it.
Yes.
Yeah, basically. Yes. Indeed. So today we did not a whole lot. For lunch we had a typical Bavarian dish, the Weisswurst, which was also a first for Carlos.
Yes.
And I'm really amazed that he ate 5 of them. 5. I usually eat 3, maybe 4 at the most. But he ate 5. I mean, that's an achievement, Carlos.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm not sure if I should be too happy with it, but I love it. I loved it.
Yeah, well, that's the point of it.
Yes, exactly. It was so good. How could I not how could I not eat it? I think your mother was impressed.
She was impressed, and I think you are ready for the Bavarian citizen diploma because you had so many typical things
Yes.
of our culture and country.
Oh, so many.
You could fit in here perfectly.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So now we are going to the airport again, and some announcements we can do.
Oh yes, of course. So I will be making a follow-up video to this one, in which I'm going to edit and sort of make a report of this trip with images and film that I have taken during our visits, and then there will be pretty soon an interview with Mr. Hamilkar Barkas, which will be edited and published by Ian Candler from
that 35th scale show.
Exactly, that 35th scale show, and which I have filmed, but he will be the man to make into hopefully a wonderful work of his heart.
Yes, definitely.
Editing.
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, so am I. I mean, I hope my images are good enough. And I'm not a professional, but I've tried to mate the best with what I have, and I hope he enjoys it as well. And I can't wait to see it.
We had great fun doing this.
Oh yes, we did. It was very, very nice.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, guys. So
Bye
see
bye.
you. Bye bye.